Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Movie Nights Roundtable Live. It is me, Dalton Burdett, with the amazing Nick Iricchio. Nick, how are you, my friend?
I'm chilling, buddy. It's Friday. We're ready to party.
That's right, that's right. We have a hell of a show for you guys today. We're going to be talking about Mia Goth joining the new Star Wars film. We're going to be talking about the rights to the Saw franchise and where they've ended up, and a ton of off-the-top stories as well, which we're going to dive into. But before we do that, we just want to remind you that if you're watching us live, please put something into the live chat. I will pop it up on the screen like so. Make you part of the community, part of the conversation, and we will designate a time in the show to get to your questions. And if you feel so inclined to do a super chat, please don't feel like you have to, but if you feel so inclined, we will gladly prioritize those first. Nicholas, are you ready to start the show?
Let's do it.
All right, first we are going to go off the top with this. Nicholas's amazing PowerPoint, and it says that Jacob Tremblay, infamous, I keep using infamous, it's supposed to mean something bad, I don't mean something bad, famous child star to play the Unabomber, which is a hell of a story. And
The
something
infamous Unabomber.
the infamous Unabomber, there we go, that's using it correctly. Nicholas, I believe you have the details on that for us, yes?
Yes, absolutely. There's a lot more to this story than you might expect.
Go for it.
Yep, says comes to us from Deadline. Russell Crowe, Jacob Tremblay, Shailene Woodley, and Annabelle Wallace to star in Ted Kaczynski thriller Unabomb for Netflix. Inspired by true events, Unabomb originated as a spec from Sam Charlson and Nelson Graves, the writer behind Radio Silence's forthcoming Art Bell project, who developed the film alongside 2.0 Entertainment. The pick follows Kaczynski, played by Jacob Tremblay, transformation from Harvard prodigy into the infamous Unabomber, who carried out a nationwide bombing campaign in the U.S. from 1978 to 1995, killing 3 people and injuring 23.
Well, there you have it. That is going to be quite the interesting play for Jacob Tremblay. Clearly he's trying to establish himself as an actor who can play adult roles. Speaking of which, in the live chat, Hannah brings up, OMG, Jacob is like a whole ass adult now. Yes, he is. It's crazy to think about. But
Meanwhile, his last 2 roles were voicing Robin on Harley Quinn and also voicing Flounder in the live-action remake of The Little Mermaid.
There you go. He's got to establish his new self somehow, and this is a hell of a way to do it. But guys, what do you think of Jacob Tremblay playing the Unabomber? A sentence I never ever thought I would say. Let us know as we continue on our off-the-top stories. And this next one is kind of a surprise as well. A Ma sequel is in the works with Octavia Spencer set to return. One of the more interesting career moves and marketing campaigns was when Octavia Spencer played this role. Nicholas, give us the details on it.
Yep, this comes to us from Variety. Ma 2 is officially in development, with Octavia Spencer returning for the horror sequel from Blumhouse. Blumhouse is developing the sequel with Octavia Spencer reprising her role. The project remains in its early stages, with no director attached or release date sent. In a quote from which we'll get to in a second, in a statement from Jason Blum, said in a statement, "Ma likes to say, 'Don't make me drink alone.' So we're thrilled Octavia will be joining us for a second round."
That's really exciting. What I'm curious about is Jeff Snyder's also now reporting that Michael Showalter is in talks to direct the film, which is a very interesting choice for this type of movie. And all I have to say to that is, Mr. Showalter, please cast Roxy Rivera in this film. You've already cast her in The Idea of You and another film of yours. I think she'd be great in the Ma sequel. I'm just going to throw her name in the ring, throw the hat in there, cast Roxy in the Ma sequel. That would be amazing. Nicholas, moving on to our next off the top, and that is this. Emily Hampshire is joining the Vision series playing a humanoid or human version of E.D.I.T.H, which is the AI from Spider-Man Far From Home, I believe.
That is correct. It's the glasses that Tony Stark leaves.
Yes, this is quite the interesting story. What are the details on that?
Yep, so this one comes to us from Deadline. Schitt's Creek alum Emily Hampshire is set for a key role in Vision series for Disney Plus, which they don't call it Vision Quest anymore. Has there been like an official title change?
I think there has a while ago, but I can't confirm that.
Shame. Hampshire is playing the sophisticated artificial intelligence E.D.I.T.H, even dead, I'm the hero, Tony Stark's augmented reality security and defense system in the MCU. E.D.I.T.H was originally created by Stark and bequeathed to Peter Parker following Stark's death. It provided access to Stark Industries' global satellite network, along with an arsenal of missiles and drones, which was obviously taken control over by Mysterio in that movie. Vision's cast also includes James Spader reprising his role as Ultron, Tania Miller as Jocasta, Ted Stashwick, and Rodia Malika. Additionally, Farhan Tahir is reprising his MCU role of Raza.
Yes, so I find it interesting story-wise that all of the AIs are becoming human, basically. It makes sense for a Vision series, of course, and we know that James Spader is going back to play Ultron, as you said, which is extremely exciting. What direction do you think they're going to take this with all the AIs becoming human?
I think it really is going to be going in a direction of, I think, Vision just really going on this self-reflect introspective journey, and I think a big part of his creation, right, is centered around that of Tony Stark, right? So I think if you look at the cast and who they're bringing back, right, you have the Jarvis from the Agent Carter TV series,
Mm-hmm.
which obviously the Vision Jarvis is based off of Tony Stark's upbringing with him.
Yep.
You have Raza from the first Iron Man coming back, which was a random pull.
Mm-hmm.
But, I think you have that. You have E.D.I.T.H. So all of these creations are kind of centered, and even Ultron is centered around Tony Stark's manipulation and use of technology. So I think it's kind of just looking at Vision being like, why did all of these go bad? Why am I good? And I think it's going to be an interesting take on it.
Yeah, just a quick side note. I think, wasn't Raza, instead of an AI, wasn't he just one of the bad guys working with Obadiah Stane in, was it Afghanistan? I think?
Yeah, I think he was just in the, yeah.
Yeah. Thought he was dead. It turns out he's not. That's interesting. Guys, what do you think about E.D.I.T.H. coming live action? Nick, do you think that Jennifer Connelly is going to play live action Friday?
She better. No, she's not Friday. She is.
Who does she
Karen,
play?
Isn't she? She's Karen, isn't she?
Was Karen the name of Spiders in Homecoming?
Yeah. It is. But Karen is Iron Man, or sorry, Karen is Jennifer Connelly, who's Spider-Man's AI, and the joke being that it's Paul Bettany's wife as well. So that's kind of funny there. Friday is Carrie Condon.
Oh, interesting. Wonder if we'll get Carrie Condon as well.
I mean, it's never a bad thing to have Carrie Condon in your movie or
never
TV
at all.
show. So
never at all. But guys,
I would be big supportive of this.
Of course. What do you think about all of the AIs becoming human in the Vision series? Let's move on to our next off the top. And this one, it just kind of came out of nowhere, and it's not getting the attention that I think it should be getting. And that is this. Nick Jonas is set to play Paul Stanley in a new Kiss movie. This is kind of wild. Nicholas, please, for the love of God, give us the details on this.
Yeah, this one comes to us from Deadline. Nick Jonas is near closed on a deal to star as Kiss lead singer Paul Stanley in Shout It Out Loud, the Mick G directed film about the formation of the venerable hard rock band in the 1970s. The film will go into production at the end of the year or in early 2026, with STX fully financing. The most recent draft is by Darren Lemke, the original writer, Ol Sanders. I'm told that Jonas will do his own singing and he'll need time to train to replicate the jet engine vocals of Paul Stanley. Yeah, and that just kind of goes into about who Nick Jonas is, which if you don't know, now you do.
If you don't know who Nick Jonas is, I mean, where have you been the past, 20 years? But yeah, I'm just really fascinated by that. Guys, what do you think about Nick Jonas playing Paul Stanley in a Kiss movie? And to our last off the top, this is exciting. I believe this is an exclusive from the Insnider newsletter. As we know, there's a Street Fighter movie happening. It was going to be directed by the Filippo brothers. It's not anymore. It has a new director. But looks like they're starting the casting process because Walton Goggins is set to play a role in Street Fighter, which is really surprising, but very cool at the same time. Nick, hit us with the details about Walton Goggins.
Yeah, absolutely. So allegedly he will be playing M. Bison in the Street Fighter movie. I'm going to pull from the Insider here. Hot off is sure to be Emmy-nominated turn in HBO's White Lotus, Walton Goggins is in talks to join the cast of legendary Street Fighter movie, along with singer Orville Peck and comedian Eric Andre, which was also two very interesting casting additions to this. Andrew Koji and Noah Centino lead the cast, which is also expected to include Jason Momoa, and WWE superstar Roman Reigns.
Now that is a cast right there.
Kitao Sakurai, who directed Twisted Metal, will direct a script from Dylan Musan, Captain America Brave New World. Oh boy, what a combo.
Oh yeah. It's going to be interesting. I still wish the Philippo brothers were making it, but I'll take it. I'm probably going to watch it. I'm going to be excited. The original Street Fighter movie, if you've never seen it, is just so incredibly bad that it's good. Like, it's one of those. And has Jean-Claude Van Damme. It's incredible. Guys, what do you think about Walton Goggins and Eric Andre and other people joining the Street Fighter movie? Let us know as we move into our first official dive-in news story of the day, Nicholas. And that is this. Earlier this year, in January, I believe, we went to go see a comedy in theaters, a comedy that we don't get to see a whole lot of comedies in theaters anymore. And this one was called One of Them Days. We both found this movie to be incredibly funny. The jokes were always solid. The characters were interesting. Now, I do think the movie did have some stumbles in it to where it kind of prevented it from being like a really great comedy, but I thought it was a really good comedy. I really enjoyed it. Well, great news. One of Them Days is getting a theatrical sequel. You love to see it. You love to hear it. Here is what we know. Coming to us from Variety, Keke Palmer and SZA are expected to return, as well as the film's original creative team. Was the feature debut of director Lawrence Lamont. Plot details are currently under wraps. The first film grossed over $50 million and has a 94% on Rotten Tomatoes, and I think the actual turnaround budget for this thing was incredible, which I'm going to pull up now. While I'm doing that, Nicholas, what are your thoughts on just getting a sequel to One of Them Days, which I'm just glad that a comedy was successful enough to warrant a sequel in the first place?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I had a really good time with it. I thought the opening scene was really strong in it and setting the tone for the movie and the ridiculousness of it. It was kind of fresh. It was new, which I kind of was digging. And I mean, Keke Palmer is just an absolute star. I mean, even before Nope, but I mean, once you saw her in Nope, you were like, this girl is electric. Put her in everything. And One of Them Days, I think, is just a testament to that star power. I think part of the weakest link kind of was SZA's performance, obviously musician acting performance, but I thought that their chemistry worked really well, and that kind of helped bolster the movie up a bit. And I'm hoping, because I think some of the flaws with the movie were kind of apparent, so I am kind of hoping that those kind of get kinked out with now the director coming back as well for his second debut. So hopefully maybe that was just a bit of freshman jitters, you know?
Yeah, and listen, like I said, it was nice just to see a low-budget comedy do well, and I pulled up the numbers. It was made on a production budget of $14 million, made 3.7 times the production budget back in theaters, which is great for a comedy these days. And that really excites me. I agree with everything you said. I hope that the movie is good. I hope it's better. I hope it does well. I'm wondering how much more the budget's going to be, because I'm sure everyone's going to get a raise. I'm hoping they keep it in like the 20 to 25 range, because that way you can have a little bit more room, maybe get another A-lister in there for a brief role, like have some fun. And I wonder what the hell's going to happen on this day, because this clearly was just about a ton of shit happening in a day.
I really hope it's just called Another One of Them Days.
Oh my God. I would love that. I would love that.
And don't do it if Cat Williams isn't coming back. He was the funniest part of that movie. Cat
was
Williams
excellent.
Isn't it enough anymore?
He was excellent in that movie.
Oh, man.
Before we move on to our next...
it was just a good time. It was a good time. I see why it topped like the Netflix streaming charts there for a bit when it dropped.
Yeah. Before we move on to our next story, Hannah in the live chat brings up on the last story that we did that the cast is insane. Yes, it is. It was an insane cast for sure. Moving on to our next story. And this one was going to be our main topic until other news dropped today. The Saw franchise is an interesting one because it's obviously made just a metric ton of money, and it's just one of those things that they keep producing and keep making. I think they were going to make Saw 11 before it shut down due to creative differences, but they made 11 films if you include Spiral, which is a garbage movie, and I stand by that. But
great movie.
No, we can have this fight some other time. But the first Saw movie is something to go down in horror history because it's directed by James Wan. It was one of his first feature films. It was written by Lee Winnell. That's horror legacy, horror icons right there. And it spawned a franchise that continued for over 20 years. It's crazy stuff. And I like the original Saw film a lot. I have the 4K of it. It's made for nothing. You can just see the blood, sweat, and tears on the screen, the passion bleeding through. And the twist, by the way, if you show Saw to somebody who's never seen it, the twist still works. It still works really, really well. I love
It did for me when
Saw.
I first saw it.
Yeah, it's so great. But we have news about Jigsaw's new home. It is heading over to Blumhouse, because of course it is. Blumhouse has gotten a 50% stake, which is important to point out, a 50% stake in the rights to the Saw franchise. Let's move on in here. Let's see. Yes, they are getting their half of the rights from Twisted Pictures. Lionsgate will keep the other 50% and stay on as the distributor of the films, which I found interesting. Reunites James Wan with his original horror IP because Atomic Monster merged with Blumhouse in 2024. Lionsgate will still be involved and owns 50%. No new Saw movies currently in development, and like we mentioned before, Saw 11 was in development, but then it stalled. Taking this from Deadline. And Jeff Snyder also did a report on this because he got really pissed that the news broke when he was trying to break it. Something that's interesting is apparently, because Jason Blum is notoriously very frugal with money. That's how he kind of keeps making successful horror movies. Apparently, Twisted Pictures wanted $100 million for their half of the rights, and eventually they walked away, and then they came back and got it for about 90. So they were negotiated to 90, and Blumhouse forked it over. But what Jeff Snyder points out that's interesting is apparently, and again, I can't really confirm if this is true, this is just what's being reported. Apparently, James Wan was the one that was like, hey, Jason, let's get it. Let's get it back. I want my baby back. I want it back. Which is exciting to me, because I really want James Wan to do more Saw. But the question I wanted to run by you with this, do you think James Wan wants it back to do just a complete reboot? Because, what a baller move would it be to create this franchise in the early 2000s that spawns this whole thing, and then instead of taking it and making a legacy sequel or doing whatever, you just make a whole brand new version of it, and it kicks off another one. That would be such a baller move. Or do you think he wants to, team up with Lee Winnell again, get the boys back in the band, maybe make a sequel only to the original Saw because they didn't direct the other ones? What do you think the plan is for this franchise going forward?
I mean, listen, I'm not going to say no or have any hate for the James Wan directed Saw movie coming out in this day and age. Listen, don't get me wrong. I'm still rooting for a Malignant sequel, but if he wants to go make Jaws or Saw, it's fine. I think the more interesting approach that I would think is I would kind of want something maybe more similar to what Sam Raimi is doing with the Evil Dead franchise, where it's like, here, you have the rights, you have the licenses, here's these key elements you have to hit, but you know what? You don't have to worry about Ash, you don't have to worry about it's being all connected to the stuff. Like, go make your Evil Dead movie. Go make your Saw movie, right? Here's kind of the general premise. You understand the scope, what points have to be hit, but, go have fun with it. Play around with it. I think that'd be the better approach, and to have James Wan behind the scenes sort of shepherding that scale in the same way Sam Raimi is doing with the Evil Dead.
Yeah, no, I like that. I like that a lot. I think that'd be an amazing approach to make, as long as, yes, eventually we do get Malignant 2. Thank you for never letting that idea die.
Because, I mean, you don't have to have Jigsaw. I know it is
Right.
kind of iconic, right? You just need traps. And, that could be different things, too. You could have a serial killer doing it. You could have someone, scorn. There's so many different ways to take it that I
And
think it could be a very interesting approach.
and not only that, if you reboot the whole thing, you can literally just make it completely different if you want.
Yeah.
Like, what I'd be interested in, and I know we may have differing opinions on this, combining my two ideas of what if he brings back Lee Winnell to write it with him again, and they both just do a completely new take on something they created. Because what's Lee Winnell done? Invisible Man and Wolfman. Now, granted, I loved Invisible Man. I didn't really like Wolfman, but you can argue that both were attempts to just do something wildly different with an incredibly popular historic IP. What if they did it to something that they created? I think it's just a very interesting idea. I think it's an interesting idea.
Well, and maybe that's the thing you do, too. Like what I said, right? Evil Dead, they didn't do something new to establish a new precedent, right? So maybe that's them saying, here's how we're changing the Saw game. Go.
Yeah.
Like they set that tone, they set that boundary. I think that could be interesting. I don't know how I feel about Lee Winnell's inclusion, mostly because I do not like Invisible Man or Wolfman, but that's for a different time.
To be fair, I also think that Upgrade is fantastic. And I
I
think,
love Upgrade.
yes. And I think that all of his scripts for like Insidious, Insidious 2, and Saw, I think he's a good writer as well. So, we'll have the Invisible Man versus Spiral debate. That should be, honestly, that should be like its own 3-hour episode, is we both watch Invisible Man and Spiral, and then we do a live show where we just fucking argue. for those that don't know, because they came out around the same time, didn't they?
I think so.
So, basically, Invisible Man, I saw it before Nick and our friend Kyler could go see it, and I like raved about how good it was. And I'm like, oh my god, you guys, this is going to be mind-blowing. You're going to love this. They both hated the film. But then when Spiral came out, I was going to skip Spiral. But then Nick and Kyler went to go see Spiral, and they texted me and said, yo, you got to go see Spiral. It's fantastic, blah, blah, blah. And I went in ready to go, and I thought it was pure dog shit. I thought it was such an awful movie. And, them's the breaks. It be like that. But we always just bring that up as like the Invisible Man versus Spiral debate. And I think it's quite funny, to be honest.
I am... they came out about a year and a half apart from each other.
Okay.
So, yeah, not too close, but...
it's all a blur since 2020.
It was all COVID times. We didn't know what was happening. Movies were bad. It was all a disaster.
Yep. Before we move on to our next news topic, a couple live chats to go through. Samar adds, "What up, y'all? You see Summer Game Fest? I'm gonna finish it back before I ain't gotta. I go. Ain't Mia Goth Blade casted? Shouts out. Thank you, Samar. No, I have not looked at Summer Game Fest, but I do know that it's going on. Very cool. Mia Goth, I believe, is still in Blade. I think she's one of the people who survived all the creative changes, unlike Delroy Lindo, who was cut out, and some other people. If Blade is still even happening at this point, I do believe Mia Goth will be Lilith, I think she was going to play. So we'll see about that. And Calixer joins and gives us a little wave. Thank you, Calixer, as always.
So I just looked up really quick. I'm sorry to go off topic.
No,
I did look up a little something quick about this Summer Game Fest, the live things.
Uh-huh.
There's a Wu-Tang video game coming out.
What?
Called Rise of the Deceiver. It looks like it's going to be a Wu-Tang anime gang. It's a co-op action RPG with anime-style fighting.
What? That sounds awesome.
Oh, yeah. And then just some like Death Stranding 2. I think there's a Jurassic World game, Fortnite updates, Marvel Rival updates, but Wu-Tang Clan caught my eye.
So, can I be a bitch for a second?
Sure.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to pull up both the audience and critic score Rotten Tomatoes for The Invisible Man and Spiral. We're just gonna see how this goes, okay? Invisible Man has a 91% critic rating and an 88% audience rating. That's not bad. That's pretty good. I don't see the average score because 91 just means 91% of the critics thought it was positive. Positive can be anything from, a 6 out of 10 to a 10 out of 10. But still, very neat. Spiral, on the other hand, 38% critics, 75% audience. You got a nice audience score there. It's not bad. I think this should be 0. I think it should be lower, personally. No disrespect to the people who made it. I'm sure you worked very hard, but did not like it. Just throwing it out. Just throwing it out,
Well, if you want some other numbers coming at you, if you go to my Letterboxd profile for The Invisible Man, you will see a 1-star rating. And if you look at my Letterboxd review for Spiral from the Book of Saw, you will see a 3-star rating. The numbers don't lie. Letterboxd.
Yes, those are the numbers.
You have been lawyered.
You've been lawyered. Do you want to do box office?
I kind of want to say yes, even though I know it's Invisible Man's going to be higher, but I feel like there's a chance.
I actually think it's unfair because Invisible Man happened right before the COVID shutdown and Spiral happened during it. So let's do this. Okay, tell me this. What was the production budget of Spiral versus Invisible Man?
I'm gonna go Invisible Man was Blumhouse, so it was probably like 10 million. I'm going to guess Spiral was 25.
Close. So Spiral was 20. Invisible Man was 7.
Ooh.
7 million. Spiral worldwide made a wait. Spiral worldwide made $39 million. The Invisible Man worldwide made 139.
Well, there you have it.
But to be fair, Spiral came out in the middle bullshit of COVID. So I'm not going to, as a Spiral hater myself, I'm not going to pin that on Spiral. Okay? That was in the middle of COVID. All right. I think we've bored everyone enough with our fucking
Well, if we're going to be throwing numbers around, Megalopolis made 12.
There you go. Good for Megalopolis, baby. As always. All right, guys. Enough fucking around. What did you think of the Saul rights going to Blumhouse and Lionsgate? Let us know in the comments as we move on to our main topic story today. This one dropped mere hours ago, Nicholas. And let me tell you, it was incredibly hard to Photoshop the lightsaber handle going in between her fingers instead of the axe, buddy. That was some work cut out for me, and I don't think it looks half bad, to be honest with you.
Great job, buddy.
Thank you. Mia Goth is joining Star Wars. Woo! That's what we like to see. You can kind of see it over here. I got my Pearl poster. Very cool. One of my favorite posters ever. Yes, so not only is Mia Goth joining Star Wars, she's joining the Ryan Gosling, Sean Levy movie, Star Wars Starfighter. Here are the details. Sean Levy is going to direct, like we just said. It releases in May of 2027. Rumor was Mikey Madison passed on the role, which we'll get to in a second. Mia will play one of the villains, and it's set 5 years after Episode 9. This comes to us from the Insider newsletter, of course, and Nicholas. Something I wanted to bring up about the Mikey Madison of it all, really quick. Apparently, according to the Insider newsletter, it was a salary dispute as to why Mikey Madison walked away. It was not creative. Because I know when the rumor came out that she had walked away from the movie, everyone was like, yeah, fuck Sean Levy, blah, blah, all this, which is funny, don't get me wrong. But turns out that had nothing to do with it. What it really came down to was, I just won an Oscar, motherfucker. Are you going to pay me my money? And it just turns out they couldn't come to an agreement on salary. And good for Mikey. Good for Mikey for walking away from that. But listen, I'm stoked about Mia Goth. Hannah in the live chat adds, oh, I want Mia Goth to play a villain. And then Hannah, oh, rip, you just said that, LOL. So, Nick, I'm going to throw it over to you. What do you think of Mia Goth starring in this movie as a villain? Do you think it's a good move? Do you think it's good for her? Do you think it's good for the movie? What are your thoughts?
Hold on, sorry. Can you pull up the last live chat? Because it's just too funny.
Yep, Calixer. Oh, that's good.
I have a lot of thoughts on this. Mm-hmm. Now, I'll come out and say it. I'm a fan of Sean Levy.
Yeah, me too.
I really like the movie he did with Jason Bateman and Tina Fey. This Is Where I Leave You. So that was a really great movie. I love The Internship with Owen Wilson and Vince Vaughn. I think Sean Levy is a great character to get to the heart of things. I thought that Free Guy was a lot of fun. I wasn't a huge fan of The Atom Project. Love Real Steel, and obviously love Deadpool and Wolverine for what that movie is. I do enjoy the movies of Sean Levy. And I wanted to preface that before I say I think Mia Goth is too good for a Sean Levy movie. Whatever that movie may be.
Not where I thought you were going to go based on that setup.
Well, and that's what I wanted to preface, saying that I do like Sean Levy, don't get me wrong. I think, but I respect Mia Goth too much after Pearl. I mean, listen, Guillermo del Toro, Frankenstein, absolutely. That's 100% where Mia Goth deserves to be.
Yeah.
Blade, we'll see. But no, Ryan Gosling, Sean Levy, yep, that pairs, that tracks. Mm-hmm. It makes me excited for the movie that they're getting that level of talent behind it. I think that she's going to be an absolutely incredible villain. I want to see her wielding some fucked up form of a lightsaber.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that
Turnip Head adds, I think Mia Goth should play the villain.
So I think it's great.
I love
you know,
our chat.
And if Mikey Madison doesn't want to be in your film, The Pay Dispute, that's fine. I think she would have crushed a villain role as well. But I think that this, honestly, maybe even be an improvement over Mikey Madison. I think that Mia Goth is a tremendous talent, and I am excited for this. And it has getting me more excited for the project, even though Star Wars kind of in a lull of things. Andor season 2 was really the last thing that I was like excited about in the Star Wars thing moving forward. So looking forward ahead at what they've coming out, I'm kind of lukewarm on Mandalorian and Grogu. I'm kind of lukewarm on the Sean Levy movie. So I'm kind of just waiting to see where it goes,
100%. 100%. And I also just want to add that my excitement for the movie mostly stems from the fact that it actually fucking seems to be happening. It's not one of those things that's going to get canceled at the last minute. Apparently they're already deep into getting sets made. Like, they're going to start shooting, I think, at the end of this year, the beginning of next year, from what I understand. And like, they're going to go. And it's just like, you have to give it to Sean Levy in that regard. If he's one of the few people who's like, I'm going to pitch a Star Wars movie and I'm actually going to make the Star Wars movie.
What a concept.
I'm going to go do it. It's a crazy concept, really. And so I think that's also what's getting some talent involved, is the fact that like people seem to be excited about the movie and like, hey, we're going on this journey. Why don't you come with us? Kind of seems to be the vibe that they're going for. And Mia Goth, I agree with everything you said. Incredible performer, incredible actress. Even in a movie that I didn't love, like The Infinity Pool, she was fantastic in it. And I think that her doing this and Blade, if Blade happens, I think it's Mia Goth obviously wanting to try something different, try something new that's maybe a bit of out of her comfort zone, right? But it's also Mia Goth going, I've worked too damn hard. I need some fucking paychecks. Give me some fucking money. I want that Disney money. Give it to me.
It's reach as well, getting her out to a much larger
large audience.
That's star power. That helps her. That lines her up for the next 3 movies post IPs.
No, 100%. 100%. And
what would be interesting?
Ooh, go on.
If Mia Goth plays the villain in this movie.
You motherfucker. I love this. I'm bringing up the other chats too. Hannah, again, bringing up, guys, this might be controversial, but I think, what if Mia Goth played the villain? Sage words, Hannah, says Calixer. Amazing.
Here's the thing. Star Wars Starfighter is such a goddamn cool title. I won't lie to you. Cool. But here's the funny part about it, and here's my question to you. This is Star Wars Starfighter. There's 2 stars. How long until we get to 2 wars?
Dude, fucking unbelievable, Paul. Oh my god. Any Always Sunny's fans? Oh, that was so good.
I've been sitting on that one all day.
Just call it Star Wars Star War.
Star Wars The War.
Oh, man.
Oh, boy.
Well, technically, Star Wars The Clone Wars, you got 2 wars.
Oh, crap. You know what?
There you go.
You're right. They already did it. They just hadn't gotten to 2 stars yet.
Oh, man.
How many? Now we just need one that has... oh, wait. No, hold on. Never mind.
Say what you were going to say. Do it. Do it.
In my mind, I read Star Wars the same way that, like, Mission Impossible... So it's like Mission : Impossible. I was like star : I was like, how do we get to 2 colons?
There's no colon. It's just
no. I know. That was a brain fart.
Oh man,
that was a brain fart.
Can I admit something to you? Going back to talking about Sean Levy.
Yeah, go ahead.
I've never seen Real Steel.
You haven't seen it's Rock'em Sock'em Robots with Wolverine. What more do you need?
I know. I've never seen it. It's one of those lapses in your filmography that everybody has. I've never seen it.
I don't know if I really like that movie. I don't know if that's a lapse the same way like I haven't seen Titanic, No,
but like it's one of those things where I've never met someone who's watched Real Steel, especially with time, and has said like they didn't enjoy that movie.
Gotcha. It's one of those, like, I know when I watch this, I'm going to enjoy it because so many people have spoken so highly about it.
Didn't Sean Levy make Big Fat Liar?
I will happily fact check that.
We have to confirm this. Because if that's true, he'll always be a legend, and I don't care what anybody says.
All right, Sean Levy. Oh, I mean, we're forgetting about some of the even bigger ones, too.
Night at the Museum.
He did the whole trilogy for Night at the Museum, Deadpool
Yep.
Wolverine, Free Guy, Adam Project Real Steel, Cheaper by the Dozen,
Wow, I didn't know that
The
was him.
Internship, Date Night,
That movie's funny.
The Pink Panther with Steve Martin,
Okay.
and Big Fat Liar.
He did do Big Fat Liar. I knew it.
What a filmography.
And I think his work on Stranger Things is exceptional, to be honest. Like, everything that he's done with it. And here's the thing. People really underestimate the value of a true 4-quadrant filmmaker like Sean Levy. And that's very hard to come by. Usually you get people who are in one extreme or the other. And Sean Levy has done an exceptional job at being a 4-quadrant filmmaker. And the fact that Deadpool and Wolverine is rated R, yet still feels like it's a 4-quadrant movie, is interesting. And for those that don't know what a 4-quadrant movie is, it's essentially a slang term for hitting each major market group, like kids, adults, action, comedy, horror, drama, like the 4 quadrants. You want to hit them all and make sure a movie has them all. And that's like a big like blockbuster component that a lot of films try to have, is let's hit every quadrant here, as you know, try to have mass appeal. And usually the more appeal you try to get, you know, the more you fail, but very few people can do it exceptionally well. And Sean Levy does it pretty well. You know, he doesn't do it the best, don't get me wrong. There are people who are better. Like, I think Steven Spielberg, I think, is probably the master at this. But Sean Levy does it well, you know?
He does, and I mean, his movies make money.
They do. They really do.
They're all, I mean, the first Night at the Museum made over $500 million. That's just crazy.
Yeah, boy.
That's what you know? So, I mean, he's a 4-quadrant filmmaker that makes crowd-pleasing movies, and I respect that.
While we're talking about Star Wars, can I bring something up?
Yeah.
We didn't make this a story because I'm waiting for something to actually happen before we run with it, but there was a rumor that the replacement for the head of Lucasfilm is going to be two people. Like, at DC, it's going to be Dave Filoni and another person. And I forget that person's name. But there was a story in, I think, Deadline. Carrie Beck. That's who they think is going to replace Kathleen Kennedy. Dave Filoni and Carrie Beck. And it's a fascinating choice because we've talked about how we really don't want Dave Filoni to run Star Wars. But if he splits the duties with another person, like James Gunn, Peter Safran, throw in Carrie Beck. But Carrie Beck doesn't really have any experience with movies and live-action movies. So this just seems very like an odd move if they do it. But dude, I think it's in Deadline, but it's in one of the trades. There's a quote from a Disney insider who, dude, this is savage. They asked, like, hey, the rumors are that Dave Filoni and Carrie Beck are going to take over for Kathleen Kennedy when her time is up. What are your thoughts on that? And the Disney insider said, I think people need to understand that he's not the Andor guy. He's the Ahsoka guy. Oh, of course they went nameless. They don't want to lose their job. But, man, what a thing to say to somebody.
That's a jugular right there. My
that
God.
Is.
Listen, they're not wrong.
They aren't. They aren't. And they're even in that article, they say the worry is he's in too deep. Like, into the lore.
The thing is, though, it would follow the tradition of the person and head of Star Wars being the worst thing to Star Wars, as George Lucas was.
Yeah, fair. Star
Wars tanked because of its creator, and I think it'll be the same thing with Dave Filoni.
Listen, it could be. It really could be. And listen, I don't want to shit on him too much, because as much as we joke about the Ahsoka series, I mean, I thought it was fine. It was fine. It was fun. It had some fun moments. I think he has a very passionate fan base with his animation stuff. Wonderful. I haven't watched Rebels. I've heard it's actually pretty fantastic. I tried watching Clone Wars once. I never finished it. I will one day finish it. I'm still just shitty that they fucking uncanonized the other Clone Wars show that was made by the Samurai Jack creator. I fucking love that show. God damn it. That's so good. But yeah. We've ranted on and on about Star Wars going way past Mia Goth, Nicholas, but I'm excited about Mia Goth. I don't know about you.
I will be more excited when we find out more about her role in the movie, and I'm really hoping that we see her take a villain turn.
You beat me, dude. I was trying to set up a joke where you said something then I was going to say, but I really just hope that she plays the villain. And I was going to do it. You fucker. You beat me to it.
Before we go, though, we will leave the audience with a Star Wars question to debate in the comments.
Oh, God. What are we going to do?
And we don't have to get into it now, but I want to leave the audience with this if we're wrapping up.
Maybe we will get into it. It depends on what you say.
All right. In universe, if Jar Jar Binks had not been born, would Palpatine's plan to create the Empire have succeeded?
Yes, but it would have taken longer.
So you think that Jar Jar just expedited the process, but you think it was an inevitability?
Yeah, I think he had an ABC strike plan of taking over because he played the long game. Like he was the patient guy. Like if it took longer, it wasn't going to affect him. Right?
He did a lot of positive diplomacy to then screw it all over.
Yes, so I think just he likes to capitalize and manipulate, and I think just him capitalizing on Jar Jar's weaknesses. Look at me getting real sophisticated about it, but like the fact that George Lucas made Jar Jar give the emergency powers to the Chancellor come from Jar Jar because, quote, they already hate this character, I might as well give them a reason, is just fucking hilarious to me.
That's fair, though.
Yeah.
Did you see Fortnite's doing a Star Wars, or I don't know if it's still going on, they were doing a Star Wars season, and they made a skin for Darth Jar Jar, feeding into the theory of him being a Sith Lord.
That's good. Did you see that apparently, I watched like an Easter egg video for Andor Season 2, and one that I missed is apparently, I think it's in Luthen's shop, or it's in one of the places, there's a Gungan skull.
Ooh, all right, I'll one-up you. Did you see that Mia Goth might be playing a villain in Star Wars Starfighter?
It's getting to the point where it's lost the comedy. We'd have to keep the show going for another 20 minutes and do it 6 more times for it to be funny again.
Says you.
I don't know. Maybe says others. We'll see. But guys, that's the show for today. We really appreciate you stopping by, leaving stuff in the comments. And if you're watching after we've gone live, please give us your thoughts on all of the stories. Tell us what was your favorite. What are you excited about? Do you think Mia Goth will end up playing the villain? We really will never know. And on Tuesday, I think is going to be our next live stream because we have a screening on Monday for a movie that you'll see very soon. And Tuesday, we're doing another live show at night. It'll be a lot of fun. It'll be maybe around 6:30, 6:45 Eastern Standard Time. We'll have to see. It'll be a lot of fun, like I said. And, all right, I won't say it now because I think there's 1 or 2 more things to confirm. But by the show on Tuesday, I should have an official date for when Quiver starts streaming. And I will let everybody know. And I will be really fucking annoying about it and not shut up and trying to promote it. So,
well, you can find the trailer in the description of this video as well.
Just buckle up for that. Yes, please watch the trailer for Quiver. Anyway, guys, that'll do it. As always, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.
We did a show.